All right, we're going to go ahead and work with some of your hydrography data that you got from the NHD, the National Hydrography Dataset. You should have ArcGIS Pro opened. If you don't, go ahead and do that and pause this video. Again, from the map menu is always where we can add data. So I'm going to click the little plus sign here. And I'm going to navigate to my Project One folder. And I should have an NHD Hydro folder there. The NHD Hydro data is large. You'll notice it's about a gig. And it is stored in a very specific way. So I'm going to go ahead, when I see this, it's basically telling me there's a container of information. If I double click on that, it's going to let me see other things. And I want hydrography. So if I double click on GDB and then double click on hydrography, here is the information that I can load. So I'm going to grab a couple of these files. I want to grab NHD water body. I'm going to hold down the control button, NHD point, NHD line, and NHD flow line. We'll grab NHD area just to see if it has anything interesting. It's going to take a second to add all of this data because it's adding it actually for the entire Huck 4 watershed, but you should see or start to see some interesting information. So our outlet is our outlet. I'm going to drag that to the top. Let's take a look at NHD point first. I'm going to minimize all of these and turn them off just so I can look at each one at a time. I have NHD point, and for my watershed, I don't have any more information than 2 points here. So if I click on those, they're going to tell me what information is there. There's a gauging station. It's active. It's got a continuous record. Here's another point. This is a gauging station as well. So again, there's information here. So points will tell me if there are additional gauging stations in there. Take a look at Project One handout and see if that's something you should report. Everybody should have at least one gauging station in their watershed because that is where your data has come from. I'm going to turn off NHD point. I'm going to minimize it. Let's take a look at the NHD flow line. So these are our rivers. And this is useful. This is going to be good for displaying information. I'm going to click on one of the lines. And I will do a better job clicking on one of the lines. And it's going to tell me what information is associated with that line. Oh my gosh, it already knows it's the Bushkill Creek, which is great. It knows, it thinks it's an artificial path, which is interesting, but that's fine. And it's got some other information. Mostly we care about the Bushkill Creek, and we care that it thinks what type of pathway it thinks it is, the F type and F code. So we have some information there. I'm going to zoom back out. We might want just information on flow lines within our watershed. I'm going to go to analysis. I'm going to click on tools, and I'm going to zoom back up, and I want to clip this file to just my watershed. I'm going to go to analysis tools. I'm going to go to extract, and I'm going to clip. My input features is my flow line, and my clip features, what I want to limit it to is my watershed. And I'm going to save that. Actually, I'm just going to click in there so it goes to my GDB. And I'm going to name this, oops, watershed rivers. And I'm going to run this. You can do this for any shapefile. You can say, just clip it to my watershed. And when I do this, if I turn off the NHD flow line feature, you will notice I just have rivers for my watershed. So it's sort of a useful way to make nice maps and limit the big amount of information to just an area that we care about. So we have rivers in our watershed now. Let's take a look at NHD line. I'm going to turn this on, and you might not have much information in your watershed. You might have information. You can see a small thing appearing down here. Let's go ahead and zoom down and take a look at it and click on it. It is telling us this is a non-earthen shore. I don't ask you about this for the project, but again, if you have something interesting in your watershed, you might want to mention it. I don't in mine, so I'm going to turn that guy off, and I'm going to minimize it. And let's take a look at NHD area. Again, it's telling you if there is water bodies that constitute an area. And so I have a little bit of that. In this case, it's telling me it's a stream or river, and it's telling me it's perennial. So let's zoom back out. This is a way that we can display the actual channel instead of just the streamline. So it's up to you again if you want to use this and in your display of data. You could clip it to your watershed outline, but it's another piece of information. I'm going to turn that off. And last but not least, I'm going to turn on NHD water body. And in my particular area, that's got a lot of information in it. And in particular, I'm going to zoom in. Red corresponds to lakes or ponds. It is unlikely I will have playas or ice masses in my watershed. And what I would encourage you to do if you're going to show this information or summarize this information in some way is use colors that make sense. So a lake or pond should probably be blue. I'm going to click on that color, and I'm going to go to properties, and I'm going to choose a different color and show my lake or pond so that it looks nicer. And that background isn't so useful. I don't like the world topographic map, but the hill shade is sort of nice underneath. And again, what I would encourage you to do as you play around with this is make stuff look nice, right? A stream or a river. Maybe I want that to be a dark blue. Let's change that. We've got our artificial drainage way down here. Let's make that the same color, a different color, up to you. And all of a sudden I can start to see the hydrography of my watershed. Something interesting in my watershed. It looks like I have something down here that I hadn't identified before. And we have a feature that is unexpected. And I think that is either a canal or ditch or an underground conduit. And so I could play around and see which one it is. I actually think that's an underground conduit based on where it's located. But again, figure out what's happening in your watershed. This is what you're trying to convey with that fact sheet. So now we have all of this information for you to summarize and include. Save it. Remember, you can change the order of things as you drag. And you now have a bunch of data to analyze and think about for your first project.